We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
You have fun. Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you.
Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at belisiofoods.com/careers.
Good morning, everyone. And it is the Monday after Thanksgiving weekend. And we hope that you all had a beautiful holiday and wonderful and got to gobble till you wobble and all that stuff. And so we are back. It is Monday. We have officially kicked off the Christmas season and Cyber Monday, Jeremiah.
That is right. You got to get the deals online, Jim.
That's right. And I don't know. Are you going to do any Cyber Monday shopping?
Well, I checked my Amazon cart this morning, and the item I was looking at is not any more on sale than it was last week. So
you're like, I'm just going to. So that was one of the hints that I heard on the news this morning is to put stuff in your cart.
Yeah.
And just let it sit there.
Yeah.
And then like the store may like throw you a nudge like, hey, if you still thinking about this, we'll give you 10% off if you want it.
Well, I will say it's like $20 to $30 cheaper than what it normally is, but it wasn't any cheaper today.
Yeah.
I was hoping maybe because of Cyber Monday, get a little extra discount.
Yeah, you never know, do you?
But anyhow.
Shoot.
So
well, good.
Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
We did. I cooked the turkey and I did not Griswold family it. So
very good. I know you talked about doing it outside. Did you do it outside?
No, we ended up not. Mostly because
deep frying, right?
Yes, yeah. Mostly because I did not want to spend $50 on fryer oil.
Oh yes, you got to fill that pan up.
Yeah, and then it's just such a waste to me. Like so. Peanut oil, like last year, was like $30 for the box of it.
Okay.
To fill your fryer. This year it was $49.99.
Oh wow!
And I'm like, or I could just throw it in the oven for free,
right?
Or for a little electricity. So you know, I'm thinking
you have to have the peanut oil because it higher heat value, right?
Yeah, and I think and flavor too.
Right.
But
okay.
So well, if you have like a big family and you're going to use it over again a couple of times, then that's one thing. But just to do one small turkey and then dump the stuff out, I feel like that's a waste. So of resources. So anyway, but I baked a turkey and a ham, and I don't mind telling you, I did it good.
Great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Always How about
you? We talked about corn pudding last week.
Yes. How'd you do it?
So I made my corn pudding, and I ended up having to do 2 batches because I bought the wrong pan this year. I always buy the little throwaway pans, and I grabbed the wrong one off the shelf. So it was a little more shallow than I needed.
Uh-huh.
So I had to split it into 2 pans.
Gotcha.
So I took them both with me, and somebody ate. Everybody, ate on it. One pan was empty when I left. Other pan hadn't been touched yet. With it being throwaway, you just kind of leave it behind.
And I will say, and again, you don't want to waste and hurt the environment or whatever. But this is the first year ever where I had used the throwaway pans, and that was just really nice.
Makes it easy, doesn't it?
Like ham, turkey, gone.
Right.
Throw in trash.
No dishes.
Yes. Yeah. I will give one hint about that, though. If you're going to put your turkey in like one of those aluminum pans, double it up.
Makes sense. It's probably a little wobbly.
It's a little wobbly, yeah. So
that's what I had to do with my Thanksgiving plate this year. Had to double it up because I had too much food on it, apparently. I remember I was telling you about the chicken noodles last week.
Yes.
Had a big pile of those, big pile of the potatoes, the turkey, had my piece of ham.
There you go.
So
you did both. I did both too.
Yeah, I did eat both, and it was good.
Good.
Always good.
Yes.
So, anyhow,
well, cool. So you are here this morning to start off our news and
talk about something I covered over the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And boy, does Wellston do it up right.
They do. Yeah, over the weekend, Pete sent me up to the city of Wellston. We covered the official lighting of the Pride Park. It's called Ohillco Lights.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
I have a video here that Dylan will show. It's the lighting, the moment that they were lit for the first time. So we'll go ahead and show that real quick. All right, so there you go. That was the official lighting of Ohillco Lights up there. Could talk a little bit about it real quick here before we show some. I sent Dylan some pictures, but we'll show those in a second.
Yeah.
I looked back because I had asked him how many years they've been doing this, so they couldn't exactly remember. But I remember covering the first one, so I looked back to see when it was. So it's the Wellston Ohillco Society. And they started this in 2017. Now, it wasn't called Ohillco Lights then. The first 2 years, it was actually called Winter Nights and Christmas Lights.
Oh.
Is what it was called there in Pride Park.
Okay.
And then that third year, they changed it to Ohillco Lights.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's been since. And that would have been 2019 is when they changed the name to Ohillco Lights. And it's been that every year since. This year they have 110 Christmas trees.
Holy moly.
Lit up in the park. It's a little bit down from last year. I can't remember how many they had last year, but they did say it was down a little bit. I think they said they had a problem getting more trees from where they would pick them up from.
Sure.
But they had that
110
official
is
110 crowded in.
Gosh.
And it's located in Pride Park. Which is along Railroad Avenue in Wellston.
Yes.
It's between 2nd Street and Broadway there. And there's a nice little park there. The depot is located there, the Wellston Depot. And they just recently had grant money done where that walkway was all tore out because they had kind of like an asphalt walkway through there. It was a little rough. They tore all that out because they got a grant and they were able to put a whole new walkway in there from 2nd Street all the way to Broadway.
Okay.
Super nice to walk on.
Cool.
I know Dylan's got some pictures that he can show. There was one that you could kind of see the walkway that I was talking about.
And the cool thing about these trees is they're done by individuals, but for so many different reasons. To
there
celebrate
may be,
lives or,
memory
of
somebody, maybe a business.
Yeah.
This was kind of an overall shot from Railroad Avenue looking across where you can see the Ohillco Lights.
They have such a beautiful venue to do.
They do. It's a nice space for that.
It's gorgeous.
It is. And here's that new walkway. It's nice and big, and it goes from 2nd, or depending on which way you go, from Broadway to 2nd, or 2nd to Broadway. Super nice. So that's they have the trees lining that. I picked out a couple trees just to show. So this gnome here was done by.
I love that.
Yeah.
It took me a minute to figure out what was happening, but he's so cute.
Super cute. High Valley Banking Company did this gnome. So that was a cute one there. This one was done. So every year, the Lambs and the Saltzmans there in Wellston always like to do a fun Christmas tree. This one, it says the first Christmas gifts, and they said gold, Frankenstein and myrrh. Instead of frankincense.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, Frankenstein. So that's super cute
funny.
tree.
So is that like the Grinch or Frankenstein?
That's Frankenstein there, Dylan.
Is that a real person?
No, that's
Oh.
it's a display. It's a display there, and he's holding like a bottle that says myrrh.
I was just wondering who drew the short straw that they had to stand out there from now till Christmas.
Right. But they always do a fun tree every year. I know when I've been up there in the past, they've always had some kind of out there tree.
Yeah,
It's
love
always
that.
they always do something fun.
That's so good.
Here's another tree that I thought was kind of neat. This is a Pittsburgh Steelers tree. I'm
Oh,
not much
cool.
into football, but I thought this was kind of neat. It's kind of hard to see, but there's like goalposts there on the top, and they have a little football going through the goalpost. So that's kind of a neat tree.
That's a good
This
one.
was done in memory of Steve Bocook.
Okay.
So that was kind of a neat one there. And then, can you guess who did this tree, Jen? It's decorated in red. There's kind of a ladder there. I don't know if you can see the hat on top. Any guesses?
Would that
It's
be the
Wilson-
fire
yes,
department?
Fire department. The Wilson Fire Department
That
decorated
makes
this
sense.
tree. Yeah, it was kind of cute. They had their little ladder there, and they got a fire cap or hat there on
Cute.
top.
Love that.
So that was kind of a fun one there. But there's 110 trees altogether. When I was up there was at least 2 that didn't have any lights or decorations on it yet. So
Okay.
hopefully those, if you're listening or watching, be sure to get out and get your tree decorated. This tree here is kind of the centerpiece
Yes.
for the park.
It's beautiful.
It's a lit tree done with lights on a 30-foot flagpole.
Uh-huh.
So they originally this tree was started by local Wellston resident Joe Essman.
Mm-hmm.
They were telling me Joe doesn't live around anymore. I guess he moved away to Columbus,
Okay.
but they continued the tree. The committee got together and put the tree up again this year,
Cool.
and it's always neat to see. It's real
It's
bright colors.
It is, and it's just such a good centerpiece for
It
that
is,
entire
for that whole
park.
display there.
I know when James and I went up and we hung out with Santa last year
Okay.
on the Santa float,
Right.
and
And they were celebrating like a milestone year, weren't they?
yeah. And so we got
Lions
to
Club.
ride on the float with Santa, which was really, really fun. But we did a big stop in the park and got to walk around and look
Got
at
to
the
walk around.
trees and interview some of the kids that were there looking at them, and they were a blast. So it is
Great.
just a gorgeous display. And if you want to get into Christmas spirit, that's a perfect place to go.
That's a place you can go, and it's like I hadn't mentioned this, but it should be open through the holiday season. I'd say at least through New Year's, it would be open, and it's lit each evening.
Yep.
I know after yesterday, all the wind we had, Jen, some folks may
Oh,
want to go
man.
out and check their trees.
I know. That
know.
was insane.
Yeah, the committee had posted a post saying that people should go out and check their trees after all the wind, that there was some decorations strewn about.
I'd
so
say there were.
and I'm sure some of the lights may have come unplugged, but hopefully everybody gets back up there and gets everything set back up. But it's always a beautiful display.
It is.
Always something to look forward to each year. I know this Saturday we'll have, which Pete may touch on this today or later this week,
Mhm.
but you'll have the lighting of there in Manpower Park, the Christmas in the Park.
That's right.
That'll be coming
Here in
up. I saw they
Jackson.
had their trees up in the park over the weekend. So people will be decorating those soon. And then down in Oak Hill on Saturday, they'll be doing the Christmas in the Village. And they
That's
always have the lighting there at Central Memorial Park.
Mhm.
So there's those that you can look forward to. I know Saturday is just filled with events. I read a story. It was 1,800 words. It was in Saturday's paper. If you need to know about what's going on Saturday in Oak Hill, Wellston or Jackson, you can read all about it in this past Saturday's edition. In Colton, don't want to leave Colton out. This Thursday at 5:30, they'll be lighting Lena's Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And Pete may talk a little more about that. But that was a tree done in memory of a resident that used to live there that had passed away in the late 90s. Her family had donated that tree. And I guess she used to have like a little spot there that people would hang out and play like games. I don't know. She had like a little arcade or something of that
Oh,
story. I think they were telling me.
okay.
It was kind of like a little hangout for like the village kids and teenagers. Keep 'em out
Cool.
of trouble. So anyway, I'll get out of the seat here. I'm sure Pete has plenty to cover. And
Yeah, we haven't been here for a few days, so
Yeah,
there's a lot
yeah.
going on.
it was a nice little break
Yeah.
to do a little shopping on Black Friday. So that was fun. Went down to Barbersville, place was madhouse.
Was it?
Busiest I've seen in a long time.
People out and about again.
Out and about again. Yeah, there was, how the parking all the way out to the road was filled. And even went around the backside, it was filling up pretty good, which we went down early. But always a fun time to get out and do a little shopping and during the Black Friday, get some of the deals and everything. So
yeah, absolutely. It's like sport.
Right. It is. It's
Can you survive Black Friday?
It's a little different now. I don't know if I should say post COVID, but everything kind of changed after COVID, and it's just not as it was busy, but just not as it's just not the same.
They're just not tackling each other like they used to, because we don't want to exchange viruses.
Yeah, I just remember all the hype behind it, and everybody get out real early. Which people still do. It's different.
It's not as full contact as it once was.
Yeah. So anyhow,
well, glad you survived, and thank you for all your information on all of the great things that we have coming up, because there's a lot.
Right.
And if you can't get in the Christmas spirit around here, I don't know what to tell you.
Right. One final note on this Ohillco Lights. We'll have some pictures in Wednesday's edition.
Okay.
I did go through and I took the time to take a picture of every single tree. So I took a picture of all 110 trees, except for the 2 that were not decorated.
Sure.
And I'm going to do a photo gallery on our website, thetelegram.news.com. So you can get on there and scroll through all 110 trees if you're somebody that's maybe homebound or lives away and want to see all the different trees, you can get on there and check that out.
Very good. So you can get in the Christmas spirit no matter what.
Yeah, no matter where you are. So we'll slip out of the way here and let Pete have my chair.
Thanks, Jeremiah. Much appreciated. All right. And Pete's coming on over. He's got a stack of stuff. Does that mean you're full of it, Pete?
That's what you say. I can't deny it. News, and news.
Lots of news. Did you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, Pete?
Oh, yes. It's very, very nice. Nice, good. Quiet, small group. Just us 2 and the 2 cats.
There you go.
That's how the smallest Thanksgiving I've ever had. But we also saw family over the weekend and made connections and like that, like you always do.
Yeah.
And had plenty to eat and all that. You know how it goes.
Good. I do. Do you or do you not share the turkey with the cats?
I tell you what, we keep the cats on regular kitty type food.
Oh, you're like me. You're no fun.
Because it may come back on them. Their stomachs are delicate.
Or come back on you. Which means come back on you.
Yeah, that too.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I know. We're kind of, you get your dog and cat food and that's it. So.
They say that's what to do.
I know.
Every now and then we'll let the cats lick plates and like that, but not too much people food.
I will say that we did sneak Marley a couple of small bites of turkey, but not the puppy.
Not the puppy.
Not the puppy. Okay. We're not going down that path.
Okay.
So,
all right.
So what the heck? I mean, there is a ton of stuff going on.
Right. Well, this was kind of like, the very first Christmas event, I guess, if you want to say, you're lining up the pre-Christmas things that happened in our local area, was probably the Festival of Lights that happened the week before Thanksgiving there at the Memorial Building. And then, the gateway to December 3rd, when it really breaks loose, was last weekend. And the Ohillco Lights, which Jeremiah just told you about, and you saw some great pictures. We'll, of course, have those in the paper, too, and on our website, was Hamden's Hometown Christmas.
Okay.
A very nice event. Red Thompson Jr. was there. It was during the morning and afternoon hours. And Melissa Hammond, who along with her husband, Steve, do the Hammond Hardware Store, the former Souders Hardware Store in that location, that historic building. Give her a lot of credit for pulling what is called the Hamden Hometown Christmas event together. It was honestly bigger and better this year. I know we throw that phrase around, but it truly was. She opened the hardware store back in March 2021. Her and her husband, Steve, who happens to be the mayor of MacArthur. They opened that store in March 2021. Took a real chance there with a major retail store there in the little village of Hamden. Nostalgic to try to keep the building going. Souders Hardware goes back, a century or so, more than a century.
Yeah.
But she said they had the best retail day they've had since they opened.
Oh, well, good.
So that was the idea. It was twofold. It was to have a nice celebration for the community
Sure.
and visitors, and to bring the community together, the business community, and other elements in the community like churches and organizations and like that, to do a nice event. And the second thing was to just bring people to Hamden to show what it's got there.
Right.
The Hammond Hardware Store, of course, if you haven't been in there, you need to visit it. It's got, it's just not, the hardware items that you would think about, the old-fashioned hardware store items. You don't see old-fashioned hardware store very much anymore. But it's not only those items, but a lot of novelty items, antiques, the type of things that would make great Christmas gifts.
Yes.
And then, of course, fresh cut Christmas trees. Talk about the timing being right to that. They
Yes.
had a stock of those on sale as well.
Good.
But as far as the event itself, Red said there was a good crowd out there, and one of the big attractions was horse and carriage rides.
Oh, cool.
Right, and there's the pictorial evidence right there. That was very nice. That was let me get the name here. That was John Hutchison, who did the horse and carriage rides, and Hammond Hardware once again made it all happen. But they were able to get financial support from the village of Hamden to make this event and the horse and carriage rides happen. And of course,
Cool.
this can be expensive, to do those rides.
Sure.
If you're in a tourist area, you know what it costs, $25, $50 for a carriage ride. Well, these were all free. Everybody got to
Hey,
ride free,
that's
just like it is
wonderful.
with the Mayu Brown
Yeah.
horse and carriage rides, which are so popular. By the way, that event is December the 8th, a week from this Thursday.
Okay.
It's after the December 3rd
Yeah.
slew of
The
activities.
craziness. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So you can mark that on your calendar. We'll talk about that later. But in addition to the horse and carriage rides, they also had a lot of vendors set up. Not only people who have businesses in Hamden, but visiting vendors in there. For instance, Jan McKibben was selling her kettle corn there.
Okay.
She makes her rounds, and she was there even singing to customers. And then one
She's
of the
so
churches
fun.
there, the Hamden United Methodist Church, did a Secret Santa workshop. And another church, the Puritan Free Will Baptist Church, was giving out free cookies. A Girl Scout troop was doing chicken and noodles. And so that's the Puritan Free Will Baptist Church people with their
Nice.
cookies. And you can see very friendly group waving to Red there. So all that was on last Saturday. And Melissa Hammond had a chance to touch base with her after it was over. She was very pleased with everybody that supported it and made it happen, the participants and all the visitors.
Good.
And of course, she scheduled that on the 26th because MacArthur and Vinton County has their big Christmas celebration next Saturday. So,
Right.
You can go to both that way. All right. So another holiday weekend event. This was actually on Thanksgiving morning. It was the Jackson Area YMCA's Turkey Trot.
Yes.
This was the 7th annual Turkey Trot. And Tim Harvey, of course, the CEO of the YMCA, he was there orchestrating the whole deal. Tri-State Racer, which is, the regional group professional group that conducts these races and
Yes.
times them. So they're really professionally done. So it was a top-notch race. And when they started this 7 years ago, I think it might have been when Shadra Jenkins was the director of the YMCA, I thought, well, who are they going to get to come out
I
on
know.
Thanksgiving morning?
Who the heck's going to
at
get
8
up
or 9
and
o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
Well, they had 138
Jeez.
people who actually participated.
That is crazy.
172 that registered. So there was some people who wanted to support the event and they weren't going to participate or they weren't able to for some reason. But 172 people. You can see all the people there at the start line. And this started at 9 o'clock on Thanksgiving morning, a 5K race or walk all around town, and it ran the gamut, Jennifer. There were some people who were very competitive. They were running to win or running against their best times or whatever. And the winner was a young man from Oak Hill High School named Walker Fauble. There he is right there coming into the finish line.
Awesome. Local kid.
I think he's only 16 years old. He was on their regional tournament cross-country team
Yeah.
this past fall. And he actually had the best time. it's 3.1 miles. If you don't know
Uh-huh.
what 5K is, he did it in an even 18 minutes. That's 6 minutes a mile. If you're a good runner, if you're doing a 6 minute mile, that's pretty good. Well, this is three of them.
3
back to
miles,
back,
yeah.
and finishing second. So Walker has to be pretty good if this guy finished second. Was Jason Holzapfel. Now Jason has done a 100-mile
Yes,
run.
he just got
But,
done. He's still tired from that.
The idea is just finishing on that. But Jason was the overall top adult male. Walker was the overall male plus the youth male. And the top female winner was 26-year-old Ashlyn Denny of Jackson. She did it in 22 minutes and 51 seconds. And then 14-year-old Addison Brown of Oak Hill was the top female youth person.
Okay, cool.
But anyway, this is a fundraiser, and I presume that this would help the YMCA. But according to Tim Harvey, I asked him, they're going to target at least some, if not all of the money, to the home delivered meals program of the Jackson County senior citizens.
Aww.
I know Tim believes very much in the concept of community,
Love
supporting the
that.
community,
That's
being
awesome.
part of the community. And so, he said the proceeds, or at least part of them, will go to that program. He is aware that there is a waiting list. It's a very popular program,
Yeah.
but your means and your money only goes so far. His information is there's 45 seniors on a waiting list to be able to get the home delivered meals. He wants the money to go towards that.
Yeah.
So that coverage, by the way, is already online on thetelegram.news.com. Check out some of the pictures and the coverage and information on the top winners and what that all means. But the turkey trot, once again, very popular. We had those competitive runners. We had families there. We had people carrying flags. We had people dressed up for the Thanksgiving holiday. We had families there. We had people with their kids and their dogs.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's just
I
it's
noticed
about
the dogs always
togetherness.
do very well at that.
Yeah.
They don't seem to be winded at all.
Well,
after
they're
that.
like, if I get through this, I can go home and eat turkey.
Right, exactly.
Except for at Pete and Jen's house.
All right, yeah, except at Pete and Jen's house. I would, I told you what my idea on the Thanksgiving or on the holiday meats is: turkey for Thanksgiving, ham or turkey for Christmas, ham for Easter. Well, we broke tradition and actually did ham because
Pete!
there was only the two of us.
No,
and you know what that is. You know how even the turkey breast, if you get one of those, it's a lot.
It's a lot. You're not kidding.
And we don't feed the cat. We told you that.
Yep.
So that's what
True
we did.
that.
We did ham steaks this time, and they were good.
Good.
So, all right. So what else is going on? Be careful if you're out in the woods. This is the deer gun season. It started today and will run through Saturday.
Look out. It's car season for
it'll
deer.
continue until Sunday, December 4th. And then there'll be a bonus weekend on the weekend of Saturday and Sunday, December 18th. Now, if you're out in the woods, you need to be careful, or you're near the woods. And remember, there's lots of deer on the fringes of town. And so you need to be really careful. And the hunters that are out there, we'll just give them their cautionary note. Be sure that when you're out there that you're shooting at a deer.
Please.
There was this group in a group of Texas cattlemen made fun kind of the deer hunters a little bit. If Dylan can show this picture, had one of their big bulls there out in the pasture by the woods. They wanted to make sure that the deer hunters could distinguish between a cow and a deer. So I thought this was pretty.
That's good.
I thought this was pretty inventive. So I guess the next best thing is if you're out, walking on the trail on the fringe of the woods, human.
Yeah, like person.
Human
don't shoot.
Human in chalk, wear a black sweatshirt so they can see the white chalk and everything. But seriously, deer hunting is a big thing in our area, all across the state. But this is one of the top deer hunting areas in the state.
It sure is.
Not as much as it was maybe 10, 15 years ago, because the deer population has spread to more urban areas. And so those city slickers that came from Dayton and Columbus and Toledo, they don't have to go as far. They don't have to come all the way down here necessarily to get a deer. We still get, heavy traffic, and a lot of the locals hunt deer. But one of the trends is, I think I've mentioned this before, more and more people are doing the archery over the gun.
Yeah.
Now, it's not as easy to kill a deer or harvest a deer. They like to say harvest.
Harvest.
It's not as easy to harvest a deer with archery as it is with a gun, obviously.
Okay.
But it's maybe a little
challenging.
maybe a little more challenging. And
Yeah.
also the season is extended. It's already started and goes all the way into February, I think.
Dylan, are you a mighty deer hunter?
No.
Pete, are you a mighty deer hunter?
I am not.
Me either.
I'm not. You know what? I would probably have a little bit of trouble looking that deer in the eye after I put it down.
No way. Couldn't do it.
I can't kill any animals.
I mean,
love animals too much.
and I understand it needs to be done, and God bless the people that do,
Right.
but I can't.
Well,
It's not a chance.
and I'm not condemning hunting because
No.
there is a reason for it.
It needs
beyond
to be
just
done,
the
but
sport.
whew.
It needs, the deer population needs controlled because, there not being any natural predators. That is just a biological fact. But, as far as, shooting the deer or whatever, I'm the guy who, when my wife says there's a spider in the house, I trap it and release it.
Same.
I think that the main animals that need to be less is raccoons. I am so tired of raccoons getting in my trash.
Oh, yeah.
Well, unless one bit me, if it was in the house, I would trap and release it too.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I've had them around the house.
Yeah.
I think
They
we should
they
just
can be a
trap
nuisance.
all the raccoons in the local area and just release them like in Antarctica or something.
Just take them
out
to
of here.
another country and let
Well,
them
my
go.
guess is they could adapt. They're
little
pretty smart.
stinkers.
They're smart, cunning little animals, and they
are.
know where every garbage can is around.
They're smart, yeah.
For sure. Okay, well, let's talk about another positive story. We had this story in our Saturday paper. Jackson Mayor Randy Evans won a very prestigious award. It's called the Excellence in Government Leadership Award,
Oh.
and it was from the Central Ohio chapter of the Association of Government Accountants. And
Nice.
this award was presented at the most recent city council meeting. That is Mayor Evans on the right, if you don't know Randy when you see him. On the left, making the presentation of that beautiful inscripted clock is Council President Dan Folks. And so only one person gets that award every year. Hugh Dorian, well-known name in the state. He was the longtime city auditor. He won that award several years ago.
Okay.
So pretty prestigious. But the criteria for that award is it is given to a local government official who, quote, exemplifies and promotes excellence in government, financial management, outstanding leadership, high ethical standards, and innovative management procedures.
Nice.
And I know that, Randy, of course, everybody knows, has been very proactive in, getting some projects going. He was able to propose and spearhead a city income tax, which had not flown in the past when it had been put on the ballot, and it was passed. And of course, with his efforts and his administration to do infrastructure projects and the availability of grants and outside money that are flowing more profusely than they have in the past, there's a lot going on, obviously, in town. And, all those things are good, obviously.
Sure.
And a lot of it is being done not with tax money, but with outside money. Now the paving and all that's happened, that is city income tax money, except on the state highways. Those are often state funded. But anyway, a very prestigious award for Mayor Evans, and we congratulate him. Speaking of the city of Jackson, at the last council meeting, same one where Randy got his award, they received very positive news from their consultant who helps them with the electric department and figuring up rates and operations and all like that. Courtney and Associates has worked with the city long before the Evans administration. And usually when you bring a consultant in, they're the ones who they have come in and bring the bad news, so the city officials don't have to say, hey, you're going to have to raise your rates. And then, then the city folks can raise the rates because, they were told by a consultant. So this consultant, John Courtney himself, came to the last council meeting. You know what he said?
What?
He said, looking at a 5-year projection, he believes that there is enough revenue coming in that there is no need to raise the electric rates.
Woohoo!
Now, that doesn't mean that it won't be done. That doesn't mean that something might change. But as of right now, what they heard from an expert who studied it is that they will not have to raise electric rates.
Gotcha.
And so that's something in this day and age, that you can't expect. You talked about peanut oil. Remember what I said about about inflation? it seems like to me, just as a regular everyday Joe going to the grocery store and buying things, it seems like it's a hell of a lot more than 7 or 8%. That
It's
peanut oil you just said,
crazy.
I just did the math in my head. That's about a 65% increase.
Yeah, it's
That's
a lot.
not 8%.
No,
So I don't know. But anyway,
it's nuts.
that is certainly good news there, because there are lots of folks, that are living literally living paycheck
Sure.
to paycheck, and they're budgeting. And you've heard this phrase now, on TV when the commentators are talking about the people that are pressed more because of the inflation, heating or eating. That's a horrible
that's not
decision
okay.
to have to make.
Yeah.
Everybody has to learn how to budget and cope. But that is certainly good news for everybody in the city of Jackson who is an electric customer. Speaking of utilities and power, there is going to be a public hearing. This was announced about 6 weeks ago, but I'm going to remind everybody because it's been a while. Tomorrow at 5 o'clock at Jackson Middle School, there is going to be a public hearing on the proposed solar energy facility out in Bloomfield Township.
Okay.
Now, there are already several projects now that have been proposed.
Mhm.
This one is large enough that it has to go through the Ohio Power Siting Board,
Right.
which is the regulatory agency at the state level that has to approve these things. Part of the process is having this public hearing. It'll be 5 p.m. at the Jackson Middle School auditorium, and public then will have the opportunity to say how they feel about it, yay or nay,
Okay.
or ask questions or whatever. And this will be part of the record that the Ohio Power Siting Board will use when they meet, I believe, in mid-December to review the
Okay.
petition of this North Carolina group to do this solar facility out in Bloomfield Township.
It is really interesting. Those things are popping up everywhere. Like,
Yeah,
you
more
drive to
so-
Columbus now.
More so in other areas. Yeah, you can see them.
They're everywhere now.
There are some people, Jennifer.
I'm not
this
saying
is-
that's right or wrong. I'm just saying they're everywhere.
No, this is broad. This is a broad. It's not meant to condemn the overall thing or any single project. There is a lot of concern about valuable farmland being brought up.
Absolutely.
And these are American companies, largely that are doing it, but
Yeah.
still, it's really showing the transition, I think, to solar being a much bigger part of our utility
Yeah.
component. And but anyway, it is the high power. I read, I forget where it was, but I did read online a story where public opposition can be the main factor in stopping
Okay.
a solar facility.
And
I used to think that maybe it's just part of the record, but if it meets all the criteria, the public officials are for it, it's a go. Not necessarily.
gotcha.
So if you think that it was a good thing, go and make a comment. If you have a concern or you have a question, you can certainly, that's a place to get firsthand information. Decision will come later. Now, one of the good things about the solar facility, and there's been a couple landowners in the immediate area out there in Bloomfield Township where this is going to be, that are against it. But really, there hasn't been a lot of opposition otherwise.
Is this a situation where the companies lease land or do they buy the land? How does that work?
I believe in this case, they have bought the land.
Okay.
They have leased it with the intent to buy if
it goes through.
If the project goes through.
Okay.
And we're talking about a bunch of money coming in. It's not tax money, but you could call it tax money. It's called in lieu of tax.
Yes.
And you're talking about a lot of money for the entities that would be involved. The Jackson County Economic Development Partnership and the Auditor's Office estimates, this was earlier estimate, $980,000 annually in these in lieu of tax payments, based on $7,000 per megawatt. That's the standard that the state uses, state law. But the Oak Hill Union Local School District would be the big winner.
Yeah.
Rio Grande Community College, Bloomfield Township, of course, Jackson County Government, Hope Haven, EMS, Children's Service, Senior Citizens, everybody who gets a piece of that county revenue pie would be helped a little bit at least by this. And
which is not a tax, but
it would be a
is.
continuing stream of revenue.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's a public decision. All right, we also want to tell you that in case you didn't know, that the High Street Bridge is open in Jackson. That is on the northwest side of town. And the bridge opened last weekend. And it was a state project, so there was a little bit of money involved, but it was an ODOT project, and it actually had been closed since mid-July, so it took a while to get that bridge replaced. I know
Inconvenient for people that live over
they
there.
had a problem with materials procurement, the old supply line problem, supply chain problem, but it's built now, looks much like it did before, but it's a brand new bridge. And if you live on that side of town, if you live on the west side of town and you go from the north side to the south side, that's busier than you think.
Yeah,
it's on the residential side of town. Otherwise, you're going to have to loop all the way around through town to get there. So I know that people who particularly live in that area are happy that it is open. All right, we want to tell you ahead of time, we were talking about the light up, the holiday light up in Jackson. The city of Jackson wants the public to know about some closures that are going to be related to that. We'll talk about some of the Christmas stuff later.
Okay.
But Eddie Jones Park on Harding Avenue will be closed all day on Saturday. That's because where they shoot the fireworks from.
We're doing fireworks again.
They are doing fireworks again. The Jackson City Bike Path and Dog Park will be closed all day. So, if you're looking to do some recreation, nope, not on Saturday. Harding Avenue from the bridge to Water Street will be closed from 7:30 p.m. until the fireworks are over to keep traffic away from there. And Veterans Drive from Harding Avenue to Carr Street, that's about half of it.
Yep.
From the town side out will be closed from 7:30 p.m. until the fireworks are over.
Okay.
So those are closures related to all the doings on Saturday, and in particular the fireworks display.
Sure.
All right, the Vinton County Sheriff's Office announces an arrest of Amanda Ball, age 41. She's from Vinton. There is a mugshot of Amanda. She was apprehended in her vehicle a week ago on Monday, November the 21st, when sheriff's deputies from Vinton County responded to Clarion Road after receiving a call of two persons passed out in a vehicle near the roadway. When deputies approached the vehicle, the driver fled on foot into a wooded area. A female identified as Amanda Ball was apprehended in the vehicle. A search of the vehicle yielded a bulk amount of methamphetamine, scales, and drug paraphernalia. Ball was taken into custody and transported to the Southeast Ohio Regional Jail. The male was later identified. Criminal charges have been forwarded to the Vinton County Prosecutor's Office for possible charges. We don't have a name on the male suspect as of yet. So from talking to law enforcement, Jennifer, the two big things now, not that, all the drugs aren't out there, methamphetamine and fentanyl.
Yeah.
And fentanyl is especially dangerous. And, you see a lot on the national and state news about fentanyl. If you think that it's not around here, you are
get your head out the sand.
Get your head out of the sand.
Come on.
And it is so dangerous, whether it is pure fentanyl or often it is blended into another drug for that extra hit, I guess.
Yeah.
And it is so, so dangerous. All right, we want to remind everybody that the Vinton County Sheriff's Office, speaking of the Sheriff's Office again, they are in the process of moving. We will let you know when that is completed. But they are relocating from an historic building right next to the courthouse. That goes back to the Civil War, I think, to where the Vinton County Department of Board of Developmental Disabilities is, State Route 93 North.
Okay.
They're kind of working from both places, but they hope to have everything done by Monday, December the 5th. And they will be in the new location.
So a week from today.
A week from today. No news on what might happen to the old historic building, but the reason they're moving is there's just too many concerns with that old building. All right. We also want to let you know, speaking of Vinton County, member Laura Martin resigned as a member of the Vinton County Local Board of Education at the last meeting. And they are now inviting, they being the Vinton County School Board, they are now inviting applications for that seat for the unexpired, for the remainder of the unexpired term of her seat. And it will go, that seat will go through December 31, 2025. Laura was elected to a 4-year term last year in 2021. So her term started January 1st, 2022 and goes all the way through 2025. So the newly appointed school board member will serve until then. Citizens interested in being considered for the appointment to the school board should send a letter of interest and a resume to the district treasurer, Erica Zinn, at the Vinton County Local School District Administration Building at 307 West High Street, or you can email Erica at erica.zinn@vc-k12.us.
That's a lot.
It is. It is. You might want to just do the mail or call up there.
Or just give them a ring.
Right, because I know you're listening to it was on TV. The board will accept resumes through Friday, December the 5th.
Okay.
It will be at 4 p.m. At that time. According to Ohio law, people serving on the school board must be a U.S. citizen, must be at least 18 years old, must be a resident of the Vinton County Local School District, and a registered voter. So really, not a lot of criteria other than what the basic would be. No educational requirements or experience with the schools or anything like that. So the board's next scheduled meeting is set for 5 p.m. Tuesday, December 20th. That might be when they choose who the new person will be.
Sense.
In the interim, I'm guessing between December 5 and 20, they may do some interviews. I'm not exactly sure what their process is on selecting a new person, or maybe they'll meet and do it all on the 20th. I don't know. But my guess is there's a good chance that the new appointee might be chosen at that December 20th meeting. All right. Also, we want to remind everybody that Cherry Fork Metals, which was a very successful business in the Oak Hill area.
Yeah.
They were there on Antioch Road near Oak Hill. That is their new building at Richmondale. And the proprietor, the owner-operator there, Albert Schrock, had an open house at the new location. And
cool.
If you're driving on 35 and you're passing Richmondale, you can actually see it from the highway. It's a big metal building there. His business specializes in metal roofs, but they do more than that. But metal roofs is the big product that he does. And even though his new location is in Richmond now, he very much is still serving Jackson County and Vinton County, where he has served before. He's just looking to broaden his base a little bit, and he's got a bigger place there. So congratulations to Albert Schrock. We had a story in our paper last Wednesday about that, but that was a very successful local business, Cherry Fork Metals, and they're moving up in the world. As we said, they had a grand opening last Saturday. We hope that went well. All right. Also want to let you know that tonight, the Jackson Board of Zoning Appeals will have a meeting prior to the full council meeting at 7 o'clock. City Council meets at 7 o'clock. The Zoning Board will meet at 6:30 p.m. And the purpose of the meeting is to consider an application for a conditional use for a property that's currently zoned industrial to be allowed the permitted uses found in the business zone. This is in regard to business and professional offices and medical offices located at 1 McCarty Lane in Jackson. Now, I went on and told you all this, not knowing exactly what it is at 1 McCarty Lane in Jackson. Can you figure out where 1 McCarty Lane is? But it is to change what is permitted for that location.
Well, it would have to be at one end of McCarty Lane or the other.
With that address, exactly. Not exactly sure. I'm not going to try to speculate which end of McCarty Lane that is. I think it might be the end towards 35, maybe, but I'm not sure. But anyway, that will involve a commercial or business or office type building there. But anyway, they only set that meeting about a week ago, and we wanted to do everything we can to get the word out. So that will be before the regular council meeting at 7 o'clock.
It gets a little confusing because like the city of Jackson extends out in certain directions, like further than what you would think now.
Right.
You're like, I don't know. Is that in the city? Is it not in the city?
Yeah, I remember when that area all throughout there was annexed. It's been 25 years, maybe, something like that.
Seems like yesterday, but...
And the idea was, of course, this is going to be an industrial zone. Sure. And as it's turned out, it's been more business than industrial. But, Dakota's is in there, West Virginia Electric. Let's see, what else is by West Virginia Electric there? Another business is right there.
Goodwill.
Goodwill is new back there, and there's another one there.
Fastenal.
Yeah, Fastenal. Sorry, Fastenal's there. And then there's an office building down on the other end that I think is mostly empty now, but it's been there for a while. Coleman Industries had a warehouse out there. McCarty Construction, I think, does too. So, and then on out there on the other end, there off AC Avenue, you have the Red Roof Inn, and you have
84 Lumber,
84 Lumber and Higgins Roofing, and so there's really a lot out there. If it's just come a little bit at a time. So anyway, we also want to tell you that the Jackson County Commissioners, they normally meet on Tuesday. This week, they're going to meet on Wednesday.
Okay.
They always get paperwork from the auditor's office as preparation, and the holiday, sets everything back a day.
Gotcha.
So they're going to meet Wednesday at 8:30 instead of Tuesday. And don't forget, commissioners are now meeting at the current Job and Family Services building at 25 East South Street. All right. On the sad side, we want to tell you that the Jackson area lost a couple of well-known residents, older residents, but they certainly put their stamp on the community. They knew a lot of people. Thurman T.J. Moore died on Thanksgiving at the age of 82 unexpectedly. There is a picture of Thurman in his younger days right there. But Thurman had a business, T.J. Moore Heating, Cooling, and Refrigeration. You would see him often out working, driving that marked van.
Yep.
And I'm not sure, when he ended his business or when he retired, but it hasn't been all that long.
No,
ago.
it has not been.
Right. And
that long.
And so his funeral will be tomorrow at 11 a.m. at the Mayu Brown Funeral Home, and calling hours will be this afternoon and this evening at the funeral home, 4 to 8 p.m. We wanted to acknowledge his death because he was a well-known local businessman. Also, another older man who passed, certainly had a long and productive life, was Robert Ridge, better known as Bob Ridge. Bob was 91 years old.
What?
Yeah, 91. There's that's a fairly current picture of Bob.
Yeah.
And it has.
When I think of Bob, that's what I think of. Him being,
I tell you
being
what,
rotten.
I tell you what, from being a longtime resident myself, you always saw Bob everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
He was very active in the community and socially, well into his 80s.
Yeah.
I know he had been in some failing health there. He passed away, on Thanksgiving Day, just like T.J. Moore did. And he worked at the DT&I car shops. He worked at Gisco, Jackson Banquet Foods. He worked at the Atomic Plant. That's where he ended up retiring a long time ago in 1995. He was well known in Jackson for purchasing Rupert's Bar.
Yeah, the corner pub.
And he turned it into the corner pub.
Yep.
And he had it for a while before he sold it. And he just enjoyed life, enjoyed doing a lot of things, had a lot of friends in the community. I remember Bob went to Jackson Ironman football games until very recently. And I'm not sure about this past year or the last couple of years, but he would hit the road games with some of these older friends.
Yeah.
They made the rounds in town during the day too. So his funeral will be on November 30th, which is Wednesday at 2 p.m. Calling hours will be 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. the same day, and also at the Mayu Brown Funeral Home. So condolences to the Bob Ridge family. All right, some of the Christmas things, we're not going to go in depth. We'll talk about that later because they're Saturday. But just to be succinct about it, there will be big-time Christmas celebrations in Jackson, Wellston, Oak Hill, and MacArthur.
All of them.
Santa will be everywhere.
I don't know how Santa does it.
Well, if you look at the schedule, he can do it. It's possible.
Is it?
It's possible. We don't have to clone him. It's possible for him to be everywhere.
Well, let's ask James. Did you finally get to see Santa in the Macy's parade?
I actually did. It was like the only part of the parade I saw. I missed like the whole first part, but I did see the very end.
I was going to tape it and send it to you just so you got to see Santa. James said that his family eats early and he never gets to see Santa in the Macy's parade.
Okay. Oh, I saw him. He was there.
Saw him too.
He was there.
Yes.
Right. But anyway.
So lots of stuff going on
so
this
suffice
Saturday.
it to say, I think Jeremiah mentioned this and I will mention it again. We had roundup stories about the Jackson County celebrations on the 3rd, because there's other things other than the 3rd, but the 3rd, that's what our wrap-up stories were about. Both of them were on the front page of Saturday's paper. We've got them online as well with links to Facebook. It's a very comprehensive roundup of what's happening in all 4 communities. Like I say, Santa Claus will be everywhere. There'll be parades in all the towns. There's going to be display of trees, including a new display at the Vinton County Fairgrounds that
Okay.
the Fair Board up there is doing. There'll be fireworks in Jackson.
Yes, fireworks.
So you know, a whole lot going on. The Wellston Main Street Group's doing a ton of things downtown, as well as the Lions Club doing their parade in Wellston.
Reading all that Wellston stuff. My goodness.
Right, and Melissa Hammond is
so
at
cool.
it again. She's the Hamden Hardware lady.
Yeah.
She is one of the main organizers of the Christmas in Downtown event in MacArthur.
Uh-huh.
And you had a lot of business participation there as well with that group. They call it kind of like Black Friday in MacArthur. It's not on Friday and it's not the day after Thanksgiving, but that's when the business community kind of kicks off the Christmas season. They have specials and promotions and extra hours and all like that. Probably a lot of giveaways as well. All right, Jeremy, on a couple of things that are happening before the 3rd, so we want to tell you about that. Lena's Christmas tree lighting will be on Thursday evening in Colton. Jeremiah told you about that. That's 5:30 p.m. It's the 8th annual Lena's Christmas tree lighting, named in honor of Lena Humphreys, who ran a store in MacArthur, or not in MacArthur, but in Colton, I'm told.
Yes.
Well-known local lady, well-respected. Her family donated a Christmas tree in her honor, and it's it always lit up every year at the Colton Community Building. And Kim just posted this last weekend that Santa Claus will be there as well. She just didn't know it until
insane this year.
Santa is there as well. Also on the evening of the 1st, this will be at the Warriors of Christ building. They're going to do a memorial tree dedication in honor of, you know, some of the folks who are battling drugs or lost their lives to drugs.
That's great.
Pictures of loved ones who passed away can be dropped off at the Hope Center there at the corner of Chillicothe and Mound Street there in the brick building where the Warriors for Christ is located. But their memorial tree dedication is going to be at 7 p.m. on Thursday, December the 1st. Public is welcome to attend. The Wellston American Legion is also taking names for their food box project. That is a mammoth Christmas food box project that the Legion does every year. They're taking names now through Friday, December 9th, between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. at the Post. And this is just not through the Wellston area. This is in the Jackson County area too. You must bring a valid ID to receive these boxes, but you also must register to get one by just contacting the Wellston American Legion. Call or drop by. That's at 1001 South Pennsylvania Avenue in Wellston. All right, also another big event coming up on Saturday is the Madison Jefferson Firefighters Christmas Auction. They do that at the Bingo Hall in Oak Hill.
Okay.
They have a big auction with new items. It's not new used items. It's new items, tools, toys, knickknacks.
Nice.
And the firefighters, what a great group in Oak Hill. They take the money and put it back in the community. They don't even use it for fire department stuff.
No.
They buy hams for Christmas baskets that the Oak Hill Food Pantry does. And they also do their own food baskets through distribution in the Oak Hill area. All right, let's see, what else can we tell you as we're running out of time? We've got to tell you a little bit about the sports, because basketball season is here, the winter sports season is here, and on Saturday, we had our winter sports preview there.
Cool.
You can see, isn't that a nice cover?
It's a lot
James
happier
Hamilton
than...
was responsible for that. Always sharp.
Yeah.
But the content, we've got great content in here. Thanks to sports editor Todd Compston.
You don't put anything in there about the Buckeyes, did you?
No.
Okay,
no,
good.
You had to bring that. I knew you were going to bring that up. It's painful enough. But this is local teams, right?
Okay, yeah.
Brock Netter and Red Thompson
Positive.
Jr. all wrote stories. We had contributions from local staff and other photographers in here as well.
Sure.
But we've got comprehensive interview-based stories about all the basketball teams. We don't have wrestling or bowling in this preview, but we will have coverage in the regular paper later on, I promise. But all that is part of winter sports.
Cool.
This was in the winter sports preview, was in our Saturday paper. And of course, it's also part of our online coverage as well.
Well, thank you
all
for
right,
that.
and we do want to say on the basketball side, we have a couple new coaches. We've got their pictures there of Dylan, if you can get them up there. Chris Elsesser is the new coach of the Wellston girls. There he is. Now, Chris, I remember him being an old sports writer myself. He was on one of Jim Osborne's good teams at Gallia Academy. And now he's shown up at Wellston. I think he helped with coaching last year.
Yeah.
He is the new girls head coach at Wellston. And Todd Compson, who's covered a couple of the games, said he has turned them into a very improved team.
Cool.
They've already won a couple games this year.
Very good.
All right. New coach for the Vinton County boys is NJ Kite. NJ, there he is. And folks in Jackson know NJ because he is the son of longtime coach and athletic director Bob Kite. NJ is the younger son of Bob. He has coached with Matt Combs, the coaching legend up there for the Vinton County boys basketball team. For years, he's been an assistant. Now he gets the chance to move up as Matt has resigned and gone on to Unioto now as an administrator. NJ lost his first game on Wednesday, on Tuesday, 69-60, but they played a really good team, Washington Courthouse.
Okay.
And they believe, a lot of fans believe that NJ has a chance for a very good season.
Awesome.
So good luck to him. Those are the two new coaches that we have: Wellston girls and Vinton County boys. And all of our teams will have regular coverage on the radio and in the Telegram. We don't cover every basketball game on the radio, but we cover a lot of them.
It's hard. There's a lot of games.
Well, now think we have 4 schools that we cover:
Yeah.
Jackson, Wellston, Oak Hill, and Vinton County. For each team, we do 12 boys games and 8 girls games. A lot of the radio stations don't do the girls. We do the girls.
That's right.
And so
Because they matter.
Right. Yes, they matter. You can add them up, and so all those games are on the radio. We'll always let you know when those games are on. Mostly on the evening, but we have some on Saturday afternoon as well. So, just watch for the schedule there, watch for our promotions that we'll have on social media about when those games are and like that.
Cool.
So I didn't really make it through all the news, but we've run out of time.
We have, Pete.
We will, if we're back later in the week, I know that's subject to availability. We'll talk more in depth about the Christmas stuff because I tell you what,
There's a lot.
you have to say this. It's so easy to take for granted. There's a lot of people who donate a lot of time and trouble to make these local things happen. It isn't like, some of our events where there's a lot of outside money or big sponsorships. These are people pulling together, not only the organizers, but participants in the community to make these events happen.
Right.
And, not anyone can just get Santa in. You have to work to do that.
No,
too.
you got to be somebody to get Santa
and
there.
He's going to be everywhere, as we said on Saturday.
He is. I don't know how he's doing it.
Right.
Must eat his Wheaties in the morning.
Right. He's going to have a big day Saturday.
Well, very good. Well, Pete, thank you so much for spending your morning with us. Of course, thank you to Jeremiah as well. And we'll be back here tomorrow. What are we doing tomorrow, James?
We'll find out tomorrow.
We're going to find out tomorrow. All right. So this is what happens when we're gone for the weekend.
Wing it, baby.
Yeah, we're winging it. That's right. So have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll be back here tomorrow. Bye.
This just in.
The Telegram News has a new website.
TheTelegramNews.com.
Same dedicated coverage.
Same trustworthy news with a brand new look.
Covering Jackson and Vinton counties and surrounding areas.
Locally owned and operated, TheTelegramNews.com has its finger on the pulse of the community.
Stay up to date on local events, high school sports, and breaking news.
TheTelegramNews.com.
Subscribe today at TheTelegramNews.com.
Check it out.